A string of attacks and accusations are threatening to heighten a simmering proxy conflict between Iran and Israel. The latest claim comes from an Iraqi paramilitary group, one of many majority Shia groups in the region linked to Iran. They say Israeli drones targeted them over the weekend. Meanwhile, Hezbollah, the most prominent militia tied to Iran, is vowing to respond to Israeli actions in Lebanon and elsewhere. It says 2 Israeli drones crashed in Beirut over the weekend. The IDF has yet to comment on either set of incidents, but they are acknowledging airstrikes near the Syrian capital. Israel has released these images. They say it supports their side of the story, that the IDF launched a preemptive strike to stop a drone strike by Shia militia and, crucially, Iranian forces. Iran quickly denied that account.
Are about to hold their closing press conferences at Biarritz at the G7 summit in southwestern France. Host Emmanuel Macron announced a short time ago that the group of the world's richest industrial nations is close to reaching agreement on providing financial and technical support to tackle the fires raging in the Amazon. But while there have been a number of developments on bilateral issues, most notably a trade deal between Japan and the United States, there's little sign of collective agreement on the Iran nuclear dossier or on whether to readmit Russia into the group.
At the end of 2018, fighting between the ethnic Arakan army and the Myanmar army in Rakhine state escalated, and it's continued this year. The latest outbreak earlier this month, when it was reported more than 20 people were killed from both sides. The ethnic Arakan people are fighting for greater autonomy from Myanmar's central government. The region was called Arakan before it was renamed Rakhine State. This is the same state that saw a violent crackdown by the Myanmar army against the ethnic Muslim Rohingya minority 2 years ago, prompting a mass exodus across the border into Bangladesh. The Arakan army is based and trains in neighboring Kachin state.
Our main goal to fight is we want equality and self-determination. This is an outstanding point in policy from our organization. We want to be able to have our own Arakan state future.
South Korea wraps up its 2-day maritime drill to defend the country's easternmost islets of Dokdo later today. And as soon as these drills are over, the government plans to review the time and scale of their second round of drills to be held later this year.
South Korea's twice-yearly maritime drill to defend the country's easternmost islets of Dokdo ends on Monday. The drill, which involves the Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Coast Guard, started on Sunday, only 4 days after Seoul decided to pull out of its bilateral intel-sharing pact with Japan. The size of the armed forces is double that of previous drills. 10 warplanes and 10 warships have been deployed, one of which is Seoul's first Aegis-equipped destroyers, Haejong the Great, included in the drill for the first time. As soon as the drill wraps up Monday afternoon, the government is to review the time and scale of their second drill of this year.
President Moon has reiterated his strong will to achieve peace on the Korean peninsula, promising to do his best with the help of the international community. He was speaking in a bilateral summit meeting with the first African leader to visit Korea under the Moon administration, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia.
Sharing the goal of establishing peace in the region, were the South Korean leader Moon Jae-in and his visiting Ethiopian counterpart, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed Ali, who is the first African leader to visit Seoul under the Moon administration.
한반도의 완전한 비핵화와 평화를 위해 국제사회와 함께 끝까지 최선을 다할 것입니다.
Those comments are seen as Moon expressing his unchanged resolve in bringing peace to the divided peninsula, even in the face of growing reproaches from north of the border. To that, the Ethiopian leader promised his support for Moon's efforts.
A dengue outbreak in Bangladesh is reaching epidemic proportions as more than 63,000 people have been diagnosed with the mosquito-borne disease so far this year. India's ANI News reported on Monday that dengue fever has so far claimed 169 lives. Nearly 1,300 fresh dengue cases were also reported during this past weekend. Hospitals in Bangladesh are reportedly struggling to deal with the outbreak due to poor infrastructure. Dengue can be fatal when developed into a hemorrhagic fever, since there is no vaccine or medication to fight it.
Google's management has had enough. After contending with so much bad PR over the last year, the bosses have decided to say no more politics on the shop floor.
While sharing information and ideas with colleagues helps build community, disrupting the workday to have a raging debate over politics or the latest news story does not. Our primary responsibility is to do the work we've each been hired to do, not to spend working time on debates about non-work topics.
The company's new guidelines demand that employees stop insulting, demeaning, or humiliating their coworkers and others. Plans are even already in place to hire a team to moderate coworkers' internal message boards. And while political debates are generally frowned upon at work, Google's earned quite the reputation.
Astronaut Anne McClain spent 204 days in space, orbiting the Earth more than 3,000 times. But it's what she allegedly accessed while up there that may have her in trouble back on Earth.
I was shocked and appalled at kind of the audacity of her to think that she could get away with that.
The accusation comes from a bitter divorce and custody battle. Estranged wife Summer Warden saying McClain used a computer on the International Space Station to access her bank account. The pair has been fighting over Warden's 6-year-old son. In a statement on Twitter, McClain says there's unequivocally no truth to these claims. We've been going through a painful personal separation that's now unfortunately in the media. Her attorney told the New York Times the astronaut did nothing wrong and was only checking the family's finances like she had in the past. NASA's Inspector General is now investigating.
Finally tonight, the dusty discovery bringing back memories and treasures. An act of kindness taking one woman back to 1957.
They found the purse right here in this corner.
In downtown Detroit, construction workers just found a time capsule with one incredible treasure. This simple black purse. And inside, so many clues. Photos, keys, a sailor's commission certificate, and a first aid card dated 1956 with the name Margaret Friedlander. The wife of the construction worker who found it posted what happened on Facebook, showing the items in the purse, even Googling Margaret Friedlander's wedding announcement to help in the search, eventually tracking down Margaret's son, sending him the purse.
When I looked through right away, it was clear. This is definitely my mom's stuff.
And this is the moment Margaret Friedlander sees the purse she lost in 1957.
You remember it?
Yes.
Opening her purse and going back in time.
It's just amazing that they're still intact.
A photo of her father, who had died 2 years earlier. Her prom picture, a social security card, a handkerchief given to her by her mother, the key to her office, lipstick, and a compact with powder still in it.